Good morning to everybody. How you doing? Hope all's well. Keep up the beautiful work. Today is Thursday. Tzom Gedalia, the fast of Gedalia. Be'ezrat Hashem, this will be the last fast day in Am Yisrael. We hope Mashiach will come and there won't even be a Kippur because there won't be any more sins and there won't be a need for atonement. Tomorrow's Friday. We will read Parashat Vayelech. And it will be Shabbat Shuvah, what they call it. We are continuing the holy endeavor of mishna yomi. We are Masechet Minahot. For all those that were learning till now, all those mishnayot, every letter went on the good scale, Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach, and you will be blessed with the greatest year. And those who joined, it's a great commitment. May Hashem bless you all when you have a good attitude and a good mindset on Rosh Hashanah that you're gonna do the Mishnah Yomit. That will be a blessing as well. We are in Masechet Menachot Perek Zayin Mishnah He Zeh Hayom Kivinu Lo. That is the time Mashiach will come in merit of all of you learning. Haomer, Hare alai toda yavihi v'lachma min ha'holin. There is a halacha, it applies today, BTW, to ma'aser money as well, but we'll save that for another class. Long story short, we know in Eretz Yisrael there are many items you have to take off of the food. Tiruma gedola, ma'aser rishon, and a couple of years out of the Shemitah cycle, we have what we call Maaser Sheni. Maaser Sheni can be eaten by you, but it has to be eaten in Yerushalayim. And you don't have to go every time you eat a banana, you don't have to go to Yerushalayim to eat it. You can redeem it on money and then go spend the money in Yerushalayim. Now, that money, is it allowed to be used for someone who has an obligation to bring a korban? Can you use Maaser Sheni, buy the korban, and now you're going to eat it in Yerushalayim? So maybe it's like spending money in Yerushalayim and eating it, and that's what our Mishnah discusses, and the answer at the end of the day is absolutely not. If it's a voluntarily one that you're bringing, then yes, and you have in mind, as our Mishnah will say, but if it's something you owe already, then how could you use Maaser? It's not your money, the Maaser Sheni money. And like we said, if someone gets an aliyah and they made a pledge, could they use Maaser? Stay tuned for a different class in halacha. Haomer, someone who says, Hare alai toda, behold, I will bring a korban toda. So now it's an obligation. Yavihi v'lachma min ha'holin. He has to bring the korban toda and the bread from chulin money, not from maaser money. Toda min ha'holin v'lachma min ha'maaser. Let's say he said, I will bring a korban toda from my own money. V'lachma min ha'maaser, and the bread that comes with it, I will bring from maaser. Yavi lachma min ha'holin. He cannot bring the bread from maaser money. Why? Because the bread follows the korban, and he has to bring it from his chulin money, his own personal money. What if he said toda min ha'maaser v'lachma min ha'chulin? He's going to bring the actual korban from the maaser and the bread from his own money. Yavi, he's allowed to do that. But not only that, hatoda vihi v'lachma. Let's say he says the korban toda and its bread min ha'maaser, I will bring from the maaser. Since he said it before, yavi v'lo yavi Maaser Sheni, you're not allowed to bring it from wheat of Maaser Sheni, ela mimaot Maaser Sheni, only from the money that you redeem the Maaser Sheni produce on. Mishnah Vav, minayin laomer, hare alai toda lo yavi ela min ha'holin. We just said a halacha that if your person has an obligation to bring a toda, he cannot bring it from Maaser. Where do we learn it out from? The pasuk, shene'emar, regarding the korban Pesach, v'zavachta Pesach l'Hashem Elokecha tzon ubakar. There's an extra word in there. You shall bring the korban Pesach for Hashem, your God, and it says tzon. It's from the sheep and goats, etc. And then it says ubakar, which is cows and an ox or a bull. Now, what's the law? Well, we know you can't bring a korban Pesach from a bakar. So why does the Torah say it? To teach us for our halacha. bא אלא מן הכבשים ומן העזים. אם כן, למה נאמר צאן ובקר? Why the word בקר? אלא להקיש, to include. כל הבא מן הבקר ומן הצאן לפסח. מה הפסח שהוא בא בחובה? אינו בא מן החולין. Meaning it's teaching you that all future korbanot that you bring, even if it's from a bakar, it has to bring from chulin. אף כל דבר שהוא בא בחובה לא יבוא אלא מן החולין. To teach us that all future korbanot from the bakar, whatever it might be, comes from the chulin if it's an obligation. לפיכך, therefore, haromer, if someone says, hare alai toda, hare alai shelamim. If someone says he has to bring a korban toda or a shelamim, hoel vehem ba'im hova, now that it's an obligation, lo yavo ela min achulin. It can only be brought from the chulin, his own personal money. However, we said if a person says I'm going to bring it from the maaser, then he can do it, but that does not apply to nisachim, the wine libations. V'hanisachim b'chol makom lo yavo ela min achulin. Always it comes from the chulin and never from maaser. That concludes Perek Zayin. We'll do one more Be'ezat Hashem to put in the bank for Shabbat Kodesh. We're starting Perek Shemini, which is above nature, the number 8. Be'ezat Hashem, by you learning, God will do for you things that are above nature. Mishnah Aleph, Kol HaKorbanot HaTzibur VaYachid Ba'im Min HaAretz O Mechutza LaAretz Min HaChadash O Min HaYashan. When you bring a korban, are you allowed to bring a cow from outside of Israel as a korban? Yes. Can you bring wheat from outside of Israel for a korban? Yes. Can it be Chadash or Yashan? Yes. We know Chadash means it was in the world after Pesach already passed, and the next Pesach didn't come, so that's what we call Chadash, U'min HaYashan. Chutz min ha'omer u'shtei halechem. There are two things that have to come, believe it or not, from Chadash, not from Yashan. The Korban Omer and the two breads of Shavuot. She'ena ba'im ela min ha'chadash u'min ha'aretz. They have to be brought from Eretz Yisrael, and they have to be brought from Chadash, the new crop. Ve'kulan enan ba'in ela min ha'muvhar. Of course, you have to bring the creme de la creme goods, the good stuff. Ve'ezehu muvhar. What is the choicest items, produce to bring? Mechemas umzonicha. Those are names of places of Alpha La Solet, right? Those are the greatest places. These places, Alpha and Solet, these are all places where they had the greatest wheat. That's why the name of the place is Alpha, Aluf, the best, or Solet, the finest. Sheniya lahem, second in line for the best places is Chafarim Bebika. That's also the second best place to get wheat from, and grain and produce. Kol ha'artzot hayu kesherot. Like we said, you could get it from any land. Ela mikan hayu mevi'im. Even though halachically they could bring from anywhere, but of course when it comes to Hashem, we say Ze'eli va'amvehu. This is my God, and I will give him honor. Meaning we do the choicest. With that being said, we know we have the holiday of Sukkot coming, Lulav and Etrog. Some people go for the good old $18, but we don't do that. We go and get the greatest of the greatest that we could get to show Hashem. Well, we want to give him extra honor. I hope everyone has the greatest day. Keep up the great work. Good things always. Tiskul Shanim Rabot, Dimov Tovot.